This is a Hearts of Iron 4 video for my friend Caleb on how to defeat how to defeat Taiwan in the Chinese-Taiwanese War in the Hearts of Iron 4 mod, The Fire Rises. Just a quick disclaimer, this is all for a video game, does not represent any political views of mine, no offense or anything intended to anyone. Rather, this is an opportunity to show a part of a game from the perspective of a country that some players may find difficult. My setup was pretty straightforward, didn't do anything crazy, built a combination of civilian factories and now going to military factories. I did not touch the Army, Air Force, or the Navy, so I could show you guys my setup. So I'm going to start with the Spy Agency, which is included in the La Resistance DLC. And if you'll excuse my computer, it's a little bit old and slower, but it gets the job done. The first thing I'm going to do is start unlocking the prerequisites needed to build the intelligence agency that unlocks the decryption. That will give me a bonus that will help defeat Taiwan. In terms of my setup, like I said, I didn't really do anything too crazy, to not get involved in any conflict, and aim to end COVID as soon as possible. For my doctrines for the armed forces, for the Army, I picked the CSTO Eastern Doctrine. For this one, I'm going to do Fleet and Being, and for Air Doctrine, I'm going to do Multi-Sphere Operations. Let's start organizing my army in the meantime. So China has a very strong starting army. What I want to do is I'm going to take all my armored divisions and set them aside. They're going to be helpful for the invasion, but not for the initial part. What I really want to emphasize is like these divisions, the amphibious tank and landing craft. It's something that I've been crafting quite a bit of. As you can see, this is the start of my lineup. Moving on, I haven't trained any more troops yet, but I will start training some of these. Honestly, not really sure what the difference between these two is. Looks like this one contains special forces, so I can only do a max of 2. This one does not. Let's do another. It'll be good. 2 of those going. Alright. So my armor I'm going to put with 1 field marshal. Everything else I'm going to put with another. Generally speaking, my Taiwan strategy is pretty much to launch as many naval invasions as possible in order to overwhelm the defending forces. It really is a numbers thing. It can definitely be challenging because the island is very small, and the Pacific Defense Treaty Organization, or PDTO troops, they really like to stack their defenses. That's where things like Navy come in. I like to organize my Navy to where I'll have 1 surface fleet, and then 1 fleet for convoy raiding, and then another one for naval invasion support. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to separate all of the submarines and put them in the fleet for what I'm going to have to do convoy raiding. This fleet, let's see, there's still some more submarines here I forgot about. So this is probably going to be my naval supremacy fleet that I'm going to set on the patrol mission, which, yeah, I'll start. Actually, I'm going to start exercises for my Navy, and I'll do 1 group at a time. And then this one, I'm going to have to do the shore bombardment. And the last one, let's put this with the main fleet. I'm going to have do convoy raiding which is going to be really helpful for the PDTO troops that are on the island. So see, I'll have these two train. A little trick you can do is if you hit shift train, it'll train it up to the maximum area or the maximum XP level, and that will help it be a lot more efficient and not waste any of your fuel. So all the focuses in here are pretty useful, so I'm going to do them all to make sure we're as prepared as possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to start setting up my army. So these two are going to be my main naval invasion force. Pretty much for all like balance of power decisions, I've been choosing whatever will give the centrists the most power. Because if you're fighting the Taiwan War and aiming to win, like I am, that's the power or the faction that you want to have the most power. I like to focus on the southern point. It's really good because you can take the port, and then you can also put pressure on these two tiles so they can't reinforce. And then I'm going to have another one go directly across and get this one right here. These are going to be, like I said, my main two naval invasions. And for the rest of the forces, there are some like tanks and stuff in here. Not the best for naval invading, but what can you do about it? But I'm still going to throw pretty much everything I have at them. I'm going to put actually pretty much all remaining military factories towards assault and amphibious aircraft. For armor, I personally like Spearhead Breakthrough. I don't know how much it's gonna matter for the conflict, but it'll be good to have. And then I'm planning this one. I'm just gonna essentially throw across the entire island, not really with the goal of capturing a specific port, but rather to kind of like put pressure on them, stop reinforcements, so on and so forth. Let's see. These recon tanks, if I can devote anything extra to fighting, because if so, I'll send them again. Not the most efficient way, but as China, you have a very large and very robust industry. So you can definitely support it, and in my eyes, it's worth the expenditure for the conflict. I'm going to even see if I can send one more. There is a cap for the naval invasions. I don't really know exactly what goes into calculating that, but it is there. Okay. I'm going to do the same trick to train these units, although it looks like most of them are already trained. Okay, yep, so they are there. And, okay, not quite here, but that's alright. I'm going to move all my naval invasion guys to this army. It's up with organization. I'm going to put this dude in charge because he is the extra supplies trait, which really helps with logistics. Alright, let's move on to air. How I like to do air is first I try to get all my airplanes and consolidate them into one airport. I'm going to start training exercises, and I'm going to merge all air wings so they're a little bit easier to organize. I personally like to move my airfare to normal operations and day operations. I found that to work best for me and my essentially playstyle. It's like I'm missing self-propelled anti-air, so I'll get that. I'll take a few off guns because we're looking pretty good with that. This is how I've organized my production. Pretty standard. I built off the pre-made production lineup that the game gives you. Added some for aircraft. For Navy, I finished building those ships that were already under construction. Then I put most on cruisers, destroyers, corvettes, and then a lot on submarines. So I'm really depending on the submarines to do me well and help win this war. And let's see. And then the rest of the armed forces, I'm going to primarily keep in the island and kind of keep them on standby. I know if you do not win the war quick enough, you can actually have a uprising in Hong Kong. It's really only like a few militias, so nothing too crazy, but it's still good to have some units here in case that does happen. But I found if you're able to take out Taiwan quickly, it won't. For the rest of these guys, I'm going to move towards the coast. So I'll pretty much have all but one army come to reinforce. From here out, everything I'm doing in research is going towards weapons. I haven't really done anything for service companies or like any of the add-ons. Armor I've kept the same, even though I've been able to research a tank. Artillery I haven't touched. Naval, all I did was research the next tech for this one, and landing craft can be automatically, which is nice. Haven't touched air. The basics for both engineering and industry. Okay, so it looks like we're getting very close. Can't lie, kind of forgot about the intelligence tab, so I'll do a few other miscellaneous ones. Not in a faction, so can't become leader. But as a whole, I'm feeling pretty good about our starting position. I am going to stop training, so these guys will have a chance to board. I'm going to... Let's see. Yeah, okay, so these are all looking pretty good. For this conflict, normally I like to build up the airports nearby. I honestly also forgot to do that earlier, but not the end of the world. So I'm going to build, and I'm going to shift click to bring these up to the top of the production queue, or sorry, the building queue. Hopefully we'll be able to get some of those out in time. Majority of my fighters I'm going to have on air support. So I'm going to take the majority of them, and I'm going to put targeting the East China Sea. Some I'm going to have target the South China Sea, but not as many. I'll put these in the Hong Kong. The rest of these guys I'll put up here. So I'll click the air superiority mission. Looks like I still got some gas in there. I think 2 I'm going to put on interception, and then close air support I'm going to put down here. And I'm going to do pretty much the same thing over here, where, all right, let me pause that, to where these guys will be on air superiority, these guys will be on interception. I've also been building some additional fighters, so I'll deploy these and then quickly set them to train. Generally speaking, I don't like to put untrained air units into battle because they tend to get chewed up pretty badly. Strategic bombers, can put these a little bit further because they have very strong range. Let's see. I'll put, looks like there's another miscellaneous fighter, some transport, close air support. Put these in this airport over here. Close air support I'll put over here as well. And MPA, which to my understanding are like naval bombers, I'll put in this airport right here. So let's see. I'm going to give this a few days to get my units into order to make sure that everything is all set before we go. If you have too many units in here, which it doesn't look like these will get finished quite in time, not the end of the world. They won't be able to fly all their missions, which isn't the good. So I'm going to quickly reorganize this. Can put these on naval strikes, port strikes, and naval patrol to help the Navy. So I'm going to start sending these guys out. I don't really want to do like any like the big missions like patrol too early. It's like exercises aren't quite done yet, but that's all right. Put these guys on naval invasion support, and then these guys on patrol. They'll help get me naval supremacy. I'm going to focus pretty much exclusively on these two sea zones. I've never seen the PDTO naval invade elsewhere, so I don't anticipate that being a problem. For my air experience, I'm going to put them on primarily fighters. So I'll do aerial dominance for fighters. And then I'll do strike aircraft next. Let's see. Do the fire arrows. That seems good. You can like pick some of the Navy focused ones, but I personally don't really prioritize Navy all that much. And then for mechanized, I'm going to do mechanized breakthrough. I'm also going to move around some of my generals, so I kept this dude around, but I'm going to change it to let's do decisive battle. This guy has some better traits. And then I'll keep these guys the same. Let's do ground support. That'll be more helpful. And this one I already changed out for division attack. And yeah, so a few extra fighters here that'll move to this base. Quite a few extras here. So let's see, it's close air support. Gonna move down here. That's 3. Oh, I see some strategic bombers. Okay. Let me move those to up here near Wuhan. Okay, perfect. Okay, actually not as big of a range as I thought they would have. Maybe if I remember once one of these air zones or air bases finished, I'll deploy them. Looks like they can reach. So I'll put these guys on strategic bombing. And then, oh, actually got a fighter unit in there. I'll send you back. And then close air support is going to help out with assisting our units on the beach. And transport will keep everybody supplied, also very important. All right, so that's the Navy and good, getting into place. Our spies are building up a network, which will help us with our planning invasion bonus. And then Air Force is getting into place. They'll be on their missions. I'll do more ground crews in both the north and the south to give us a little bit of an extra bonus. And yeah, and all our units are ready to go at high organization. I'm the type to honestly launch everything at the same time. Then once I secure a port, I'll bring in my heavy units. And with that, I'm feeling pretty good about how we're looking. So let's complete the focus to declare war. Let me check, make sure I don't miss anything in here. Honestly, didn't do anything too crazy. And any power dynamics, I picked the centrist, like I mentioned earlier. And for this, I picked any decisions that would increase the environmental reform. Well, let's restart that timer. I think the Air Force, as well as the Navy, are going to be the two major factors. So if you didn't catch that there were a few fighters who I didn't either assign an area or a mission, so I did that. Looks like the naval dominance is in the favor of the enemy, which I attribute to me not having my Navy out in time. So I'm going to give us a little bit of time to get that. So air is looking good, and like I said, that's really going to help us in both the skies and the ground. All right. Yeah, so not quite. The focus tree is pretty good. I don't really have a strong preference between either one of these. I'd say maybe slowly but surely is the way that I would go. And then in terms of these ones, yeah, honestly, you can do whatever you want. Like I said, I don't have a super strong preference. The lack of naval supremacy is a little bit concerning. But it looks like it's trending in the right direction. Navy really isn't my expertise. So I would say as a piece of advice, if you do this, like get your Navy out a little bit earlier, I'm going to click these to go. So when the prerequisites are set and they have the supremacy, they're able to launch. See, like this guy launching over here. These guys launch. Okay, yeah, there they go. If you had the decipher broken, now would be the time to pop it. You can find this in the cryptology menu after you do these two intelligences and this one right here. It's a little different because, like I said, this is the mod for the game. All right, so the bubbles are looking good, and we're trading red. It really is a... Oh, we already got a port. Almost like a waiting game, like who can last longer, more of attrition style. It's a little bit in your disadvantage because you're naval invading and you have a more limited amount of supplies. I don't know why it does this black screen thing. It makes it very hard if you're trying to micromanage. But I'm going to essentially start spreading these guys out and pressuring some of the other landing slots. Kind of surprised we were able to get a tile uncontested because normally have everything guarded. So this right here I'm very happy about because we have a port of our own. So I'm going to delete their army. This gentleman right here I'm still going to keep behind, but these two I'm going to bring over. Let's see. In a little bit I'll bring him over to this army, and I'm going to have this guy start to push south. Ideally, if we can break out a tile or two outside of the port, that'd be very great, so we're not at risk of being encircled. These guys, respectfully, a little too late, but I will... You know what? I'll bring them along, and they can help with the battle in the south. I would shift-click to assign them to the front line, but it's a little bit hard to see. Okay, we got another port up here. So I'm hoping we can use our forces, and I'm going to send them to assist the attack, so we can link up with that. Okay, perfect. It's actually very good. I'm very pleased with how this is progressing. Not this weird visual glitch. I think it's like the convoys or whatever. Sometimes they're too big. Makes it very hard to see, and again, micromanage. But I'm going to start the attack and just get these guys going. Like I said, you really got to keep the pressure up. You can't let them reorganize. They're going to do good defensive positions. Looks like almost all of our landings were a success. I personally don't focus too much on encircling. I just think it's a little too challenging given like the visual glitches and how like small the island and the tiles are. Like I said, I kind of go for like a brute force approach of using your superior numbers and air in order to overwhelm the defensive forces. But I think we might even have a little encirclement in the south, it looks like. Yeah. So now micromanaging these guys to individually attack certain units. It's generally advisable to do this compared to simple battle planning. But like I said, the challenges of the terrain and the size make it difficult. Okay, it looks like we have the port up there as well. I think I'm going to wait till we clean up this area right here, and then I'm going to redeploy this guy's front line up. Meanwhile, I'm still sending my troops on kind of like probing style attacks to keep the push going. Let's see. I don't really need the Air Force. Okay. Let's see this guy mission. But I do like this National Spirit below, which helps reduce the deductions we get of our insufficient understanding of modern warfare. Air is looking very good, or was looking very good. And we're doing a lot of close air support damage, which is this number right here, as well as some strategic bombing damage. Seems like we're trading pretty evenly in the sky. Okay, so another thing I forgot to mention is fuel is very, very important. I, again, made a little bit of a mistake with not fully building up my stockpiles. So I'm going to start buying a lot from Russia. You don't need to buy this much, but I want enough to keep us through the war. I also, while you are doing your pre-build up, recommend sprinkling some synthetic refineries in there, as well as researching tech. So it's like we're actually getting a lot of destruction. You can either do this little tab to give you some factories to automatically go towards that, but given the importance of this war, I'm going to essentially move all these to the top. I'm going to focus on infrastructure and any this is not coastal fort. Also railways as well. Pretty much any logistics or things that have to deal with supply, because those will be needed to keep my troops fighting. And without supply, it'll make my job incredibly difficult. Like I said, the fuel has me a bit concerned because we need it for our Air Force and our Navy. We'll see if we're able to get some emergency supplies up and prevent us from essentially running out of oil, which would not be good. Generally speaking, in this mod, you'll have like highly mechanized armies, which need a lot of fuel. Another way to get more fuel is to do the synthetic oil part of your research tree. So that's to give me some rubber, and this will give me some extra oil from refineries. I'm going to increase our trade with Russia. As soon as the war is over, honestly, you can set it back to normal levels. But because I really don't want to run out of oil during this conflict, I'm going to keep it lower. Another trick is you can click this button to automatically fill in how many resources you need. Okay, so I'm going to take this guy's front line and move it to the north. Those units that are down there, they can help clean this up, but I really want to push up northwards and take over Taipei. Some of them might not go right away because they're currently in conflict. So it looks like these guys are all the other army, so we'll have them keep attacking. These guys, they're encircled, so even though it was red for a bit, it'll eventually turn into our favor. Let's launch the attack. I'm going to trigger the extra supply ability for this guy. The other one, unfortunately, does not have it, which would be useful, but at the end of the world. Let's just quickly look at Navy real quick. So, like, convoy rating, like I said, this is huge. We can take out so many of the reinforcements. So you can see how we've been trading very positively, getting rid of hundreds of their ships, and we've only lost what looks like 10. In a somewhat surprising way, Taiwan isn't really your main problem, but Japan and Australia, they send a lot of reinforcements to help them, and with their combined militaries, they're pretty much on par with our own. A convoy rating essentially neuters the ability of them to reinforce their troops. And you get these pop-ups all the time of their forces and their convoys being sunk. Yeah, you can see the notification about fuel. Alright. Another trick you can do is you can assign the fighters to an army. This is what I do in like normal games. But because I'm only going to be playing this up until the Taiwan War, and you're only really focusing on 2 tiles, I find it okay to do the Air Force manually. Yeah. I can't lie, it's a little hard to see what's going on around here. It looks like we have a little bit of an encirclement in this center. And then we're pushing up on the north, which is very good. Yeah, still trading very positively in the air, doing a lot of close air support damage. Okay, it looks like oil is going back up, so... I'm gonna send this guy to quickly take this island over here. And then once this pocket is taken care of, which looks like it's going to be a lot of casualties, so let's quickly check that and start. Yeah, over 100,000 men. I'm going to have all my forces automatically redeploy. And I'm going to do one massive push and try to take out Taipei and win us the war. All right. Go and you can manually click on. We send these guys to attack this part over here so they're not able to reinforce. And then once we take care of this, it should do the battle. So a few things for improvement that I can think of right now. First, I was a little late on like the Air Force, although we were able to make it work. But building not only air bases, but I'd also do radar stations to support your air and your navy, and the coast is huge. Building up oil, your oil supply, whether that be through trading or domestic production, is also very big. I get your navy going a little bit earlier and start training it from the start. So we didn't really get a lot of time to make sure that was properly trained and ready to go. But, oh, and there goes Taipei. But overall, you can make it work. And one thing I like, especially about Hearts of Iron 4, is even if, like, playing China, for instance, you lose, it's not the end of the world or even the end of the game. A lot of the paths are locked behind losing. So look at that. I mean, we won. It was pretty good. We did, pretty well for ourselves. So, you can see some of like the losses that they had. But yeah, like I said, oil, more focus on air and focus on the navy would be ways to make it even smoother. But as China or really any other nation in Hearts of Iron 4, learn to play into your strengths. And some of the strengths of China are the size of its military, air force, and even its navy. I feel like we were able to leverage that very good for our own advantage, really use our superior numbers and forces to overwhelm the WTO. If there are any questions, or if there are any more experienced players who want to either correct things that I did or offer suggestions for new players, feel free to go ahead and do so. But overall, this is my personal experience playing this country and what I found to work best. And I hope this is able to help any new players who are still learning the game. But yeah, that's it from my end. Thank you guys very much. And this video is dedicated to my friend Caleb, who is having some trouble with this part of the game. So Caleb, I hope this is helpful for you. And if you have any questions, or if you ever want to play Hearts of Iron 4, give me a text or a call. All right. Thank you guys very much and have a great day.